Hello villagers, my name's Jerry. We're going to do a demonstration on a recipe, a dish that I invented. I used to own a Mexican restaurant in suburb of Denver, Colorado. It's called Redondos, which is a Spanish word, just means rounds, and you'll see why when we get going. And I know you're thinking, this guy doesn't look Mexican, and there's a reason for that. The reason is I'm not. I grew up in a neighborhood that was mostly Hispanic, Mexican, and my friends were all Mexican. And I started working in a Mexican restaurant when I was 15 years old and did that for a number of years, and then had my own restaurant. So these Redondos are made with, you got egg roll wraps, chili peppers, whole chili peppers, come in a can like this, hatched green chilies, and we have some ham and we have some turkey, and we're going to do some deep frying. They can be used as an entree or appetizer. So anyway, I was saying, neighborhood I grew up in was mostly Mexican. I think they thought I was a piñata, but I learned some Mexican judo when I was growing up. You know, you don't know if they have a knife, you don't know if they have a gun. Anyway, so these are the egg roll wrappers we use. Making a Mexican dish with a white American guy. Chinese egg roll wrappers. Well, it turns out it's pretty good. So, what I'm going to do is separate these egg roll wraps. They're pretty thin. Lay them out just flat on a table. I got a cutting board here. This works pretty good. They're so thin, you got to make sure that you're not using 2 or 3 at a time. There we go. So I know you probably can't see, but they're just laying flat on this cutting board. And then we use different meats. You can use any kind of meat you want. This we've used, this is roast beef. And I'm just going to lay them across here. Use scissors or a knife to cut off the excess that's sticking out on the other side of the egg roll skins. I don't know whether you can see it, but I'll just lay them out kind of like that. Leave a little space at the top to be able to roll them up. So yeah, it took a long time. It was always my dream to have my own restaurant, and I went into partnership with the guy that I worked for ever since I was 15 years old. We became good friends. And he was Mexican, actually, so that worked okay. So I'm just laying one layer of roast beef across here. You can make as thick or as thin as you want. You can experiment. But you want to lay the meat right to the edge of the egg roll skin, because we're going to end up rolling these up and cutting them. And if they don't go all the way to the edge, you'll have bites that won't have any meat in there, which can be frustrating. You could probably just tear this meat. So that's probably enough of these. So this is how I got the meat laid out. I hope it shows up. You can see what I'm doing here. And then the only Mexican part is these chilies, these hatch green peppers. They're mild, they're not hot. Comes in a can, looks like something like this. This brand. This brand we got it, where'd we get these? At Sprouts. So you just take these peppers, I like to tear them in half, lay them across the bottom of the roast beef there. So this recipe, or this thing that I developed or came up with, served them in my restaurant, was duplicated by a number of restaurants in the Denver area. I don't know if anybody's still doing that or not. It's been a number of years. But, you know, probably whatever the new fad is, street tacos became popular, you know. At the time, fajitas were kind of a new thing. So I'll show you how I got these peppers laid out across the roast beef. And then I just use a little bit of water. You can use a brush. I just use my fingers because I haven't got a brush handy with me right now. But we'd roll these out and make a whole bunch of them every day at the beginning of the day. And you can roll them in like cornstarch to keep them from sticking to each other. Then I'm just going to roll these up. I'll show you what they look like after I got done rolling them. Oh, they look good. We've experimented cutting these into rounds. Redondos is what they're called, which just means rounds, Spanish word for rounds. So we cut them, you know, slice them into different, you know, just roll them up so they kind of look like that. I'll set these aside. And then we'll make some with some ham. Separate some more egg roll skins. So the name of my restaurant was Not Joe's, because there was a restaurant called Joe's that had a real bad reputation. So we named our restaurant Not Joe's. And we did have nachos at Not Joe's. You know, if you came in and there was a party, 6 or 8 or something, order these big platter of nachos called Not Joe's Nachos. But then if you just wanted, you know, something for like 2 people, order a smaller plate of nachos. They call them Not Joe's, not so macho nachos. Anyway, here's the ham. Just get thin sliced ham at the deli. And these almost fit perfect. I just have to trim a little bit off the edge here. cut the edges off. If you weren't watching me, I'd be eating these scraps. Make one more. Oh. Where they slice this nice and thin for me. Okay. Then again, we're going to put some peppers in there. If you tear these in half, then you can put the large size on the edge and the thin skinny piece in the middle. And then the thickness is about the same all the way up when you roll them up. But these aren't hot peppers. They're mild. If you want to, you know, if you care like me, if you like them some spice, get some spice in there. You can use jalapenos or any kind of peppers you want. You can use poblamos. Probably have to cook those first. Good morning. Okay, I'm gonna wet the edge of these egg roll skins and roll these up. Just have to wet the edge of the egg roll skin so it sticks, you know. So they don't come apart when you're frying them. I can't wait. See how these turn out. I know it's going to be good. Get back in there. Sometimes if you squeeze them too hard, you squirt out the end. Just got to push them back in there if they do that. Okay, they're all rolled up. Here's what they look like. And now I'll get ready to fry them. Let's take a look and see how we're doing temperature-wise. The oil got warm enough or not. Still not hot enough. We'll be back. We got the oil temperature up, ready to cook, about 350, 375, something like that. Put these in one at a time. We're using mostly peanut oil. You know, may not be the healthiest, but it's got a pretty high temperature limit. I'd like to use beef tallow, but you know, we just got what we thought would work best we could get. So they're frying. So you might wonder why you haven't seen franchise and Not Joe's restaurant across the country. What happened was, after a few years in the restaurant, we had a guy who kept bothering us, wanted to buy it out. So eventually he offered what we thought was a good price, and we were just going to do something else in another location. He wanted to buy the recipes, the name, everything. So while he was working there, running the vendor management agreement, waiting for his liquor license to get approved, he burnt the restaurant down, him and his brother. Burnt the restaurant down, and they both died in the process. So we lost, about $500,000. The bank said it was done by one of the principals, so we lost out. So I tell people I got turned out of the restaurant business. I did. These got cooked up nice. Ooh, nice golden brown. I think these are both the ham ones. I'll cook a couple of roast beefs. Still got good temperature. Oh. Cannot wait. So then, after they're cooked, well, just cut these into little sections. Cut them into about 4 little pieces, Now usually we serve these like you would, like fajitas, Serve them on some sauteed vegetables, peppers and onions, side of beans, side of rice, pico de gallo, tortillas if you want, But they just wrap these up into tortillas and put some beans and rice and eat them like that, like you would a burrito or a taco. Or just serve them as appetizers and, serve them on a plate with guacamoles, maybe some guacamole, maybe some sour cream. How are these doing? I think we're good here. Oh, look at there, beauty, beautiful. Okay, I'll cut these up. Whoa. Set these up on the vegetable platter. And then I've just got some sour cream here. You've got to see how they turned out. Just dip these in there. Ooh. Ah! That's good. That's Mount Joe's Redondos. Try them out, see if you like it. Been a pleasure. Stay safe in the villages.